All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to our daily success call for Friday, April 1st, 2022. Happy April Fool's Day. Do we have any fools here with us today? Let's see. I see many awesome people. I don't know if I see any fools here, but I'll be the fool today. I just heard a joke since it's Fun Friday. It's actually Formal Friday. So hopefully you're all dressed
Ah,
sufficiently. Yeah. See that, Barbara?
I see you.
Oh, you see me now. Well, there's a big win. There you go. But if you get that dog back on camera, I'd love to see the
Hey,
dog on Friday.
Shadow,
Shadow, come here, Shadow. What do you guys
Shadow,
see
come
this dog? This is a cute dog. Oh, make some noise, Barbara.
here. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
I have my daughter's dog here too, the black one.
Oh, good. What's
So
his name?
her name is Pinky.
Pinky. Very good. Thank you, Barbara. A little comic relief.
Yes,
All right. So I heard a joke. You guys want to hear a joke? It's Fun Friday.
sure.
I got a joke about time travel, but you didn't like it,
Stop.
so I won't tell it. Do you guys get that? Michael, did you get that? I had a joke about time travel, but you didn't like it. All right. Anybody else with a joke or a dog or cat or anything? Come on out here, guys. It's Friday. Woo! Anybody? Just me? Am I the only one wearing a tie? Alec, where's your tie? No tie for Alec? Okay. So you guys are making this hard on me. Usually I get content from you guys. I don't know what to talk about because what's going on in your world, but everybody's really quiet today. It's like a friggin' Morgan here. Alec, something. Tell me something, buddy.
Well, I don't know. You were asking about the tie, and I thought you had said. Well, I thought we had kind of talked about it. I didn't realize that today had to be Formal Friday. I figured
Doesn't
since it
have to
was
be.
April Fool's
Don't
Day.
have to.
Well, I know, but I mean, I just figured since today was April Fool's Day, I was like, I can take it easy and work on some. I've been working on some other stuff, so.
Uh-huh.
And,
Okay.
and I just got in touch with Gear Bubble yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, apparently I was very confused about what was going on with Gear Bubble, and apparently they're having their Mother Father's Day kind of event going on right now.
Really? On April 1st?
Yeah. They sent me a message yesterday and I was like, wait a minute. Prices were one thing, today they're another. And they were like, oh yeah, Mother and Father's Day special.
All right.
A big explanation on that.
Well, good stuff. And so that's for real. That's not like a joke, an April Fool's joke, right? That's for real.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, there you go, everybody. Today's a good day to so I guess go get some Mother and Father's Day designs posted, right? So there's that. Mother's Day is next month, right? And then Father's Day is in June, as I recall, at least here in the States. Is that an international thing? Do our friends over in England and Australia do the? I think you do it on different days. So I don't know. Okay. Well, thank you, Alec. Thank you for that news report. Dora wasn't aware that it was Formal Friday. That's okay, Dora. You look glamorous every time you show up here. So it's all good. Yep, that's great. Great stuff. All right. Well, since everybody's muted and it's just me, you want to hear a lecture or something? I can tell you a story. We could talk about Michael and how awesome Michael is. Why don't we all just do that today? It's Fun Friday, Michael. Michael, who's been growing his hair. Yeah. Oh, I heard him for a second. Yeah, he's got little fluffies going on. I got my hair cut yesterday, cut and colored, which is why I look so dapper. I always look great, but today especially. Yeah, just in case you guys are wondering. All right, good times, good times. So yesterday we got to hear from Lana, and she was talking about the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, right? Weathering that storm. Speaking of storms, it is a rainy day here in Tampa Bay. And we've got a Scottish festival to go through. I'm looking forward to seeing guys throw cabers and hear them blowing bagpipes and all this. Hopefully we're not doing that under the cover of umbrellas, but we'll see how it goes. You know, the weather moves through the Gulf area here and the Bay, and I'm still learning my way around. But yesterday we got to hear from Lana talking about entrepreneurship in general, which really I think is just an extension of you know how we approach life, right? So I could tell you, and I talked about this in my first book, that there's no separation between the John that shows up in business and in relationships and in the gym and whatever. It's the same guy that keeps showing up, whether that's a good thing, right? Hopefully I'm an asset to myself and my own life and doing this, or liability, right? And I just had a conversation earlier today with a group of our new members, and one of them came out because he had a few minutes to talk about, you know, what brought him here into the community and e-commerce and all this. And admittedly, they had talked about having bought a lot of courses, but never quite followed through, but never quite made their mark. Has anyone ever done that? You know, it's not just this one guy, right? I've you know, been seduced by the shiny objects, right? I mean, it's fun to consume stuff. It's fun to you know, hear the sales pitch and say, wow, you know, I could learn some great stuff, maybe make some money and whatever, and to buy and to take in, you know, here's a new product or a book or whatever. Obviously, I've been buying books for a while, but there's a difference, or let me say it this way: there's a balance between, you know, what you take in and what you put out. Right? You think of anything that's workable in nature. There's a balance of flows, right? Inflow and outflow. The tide, for example, right? The tide comes in, the tide goes out. I think that's a brilliant example, right, of balancing in and out, right? Those two different flows. and so what came up for me, and I appreciated this person's candor, right? Because we could just inflow and consume and buy courses and never quite make our mark. Okay. So that's not the end result we're looking for, though, is it? So the idea that came up for me was balancing, you know, those two different flows, right? So now that the person's here, right, they've got an opportunity to not only consume information and content, but to actually make their mark, to cause something to occur in the marketplace. In other words, to outflow, to produce, to have the whole experience, so to speak. Think of it like going to the amusement park. So you go to the amusement park, and there's lots of different experiences that you could have. I like amusement parks, right? Now, did you go there just to eat the hot dogs and the funnel cake? Probably not, right? You want to ride the roller coasters. You want to see the shows. You want to do all the stuff, right? Have the whole experience. I mean, you paid for the ticket, right? So part of the experience, Alec, I see your hand is up. I don't know if that was an accident, or I'll get to you in just a moment. Let me get this out because I'm channeling something here. So part of the experience of business, let's say, is that you can, yes, you can learn stuff. And I think that's good and right. I've got mentors. I buy courses. I read books. Some of you are showing up at my book study group, which happens on Monday night, which is free for anyone who's interested in like applying philosophy to business and life. So all right, that's part of the experience, right? Is taking in, inflowing. But part of the experience, and the part that makes it all, that brings it to completion, is when you balance that with production. So to what end did you enroll in this course? What do you want to occur? What would indicate to you? Here's an interesting way to ask it. What would indicate to you that this was a successful action? So let's look at that. Anything that you've ever been successful at, and that you know you were successful at, is something that you took full cycle to completion. So you didn't just consume, you also produced. You didn't just inflow, you also outflowed. You had a balance there, and a complete cycle from start and then through everything that happened, all the drama, to stop, right? Now you're done. That's a done, right? So now we know we completed that. We successfully completed, we got done, right? So, and you can look at that in everything you've done. successfully, right? I think you could qualify or indicate as, that was a successful action. You took it to completion. I think we talked about this earlier this week, that one of the definitions of excellence that I've heard is commitment to completion. So we can start, and a lot of people, have heard of like shiny object syndrome, where you've got all these shiny objects, right? Oh, I'll take it. But to what end, right? So I think it's a good idea, no matter what you're buying or what you're, consuming in terms of content and or even, taking courses and whatever. At the outset, I think it's a good idea to say, all right, to what end? What is my intent for this expenditure of time, money, attention, whatever, because you only get so much of it, right? So if you're going to invest time, money, attention, and effort into something, you should know why. Now, there was this pretty smart guy that lived a little while back, a couple of years ago. His name was Solomon. And he said that where there is no vision, the people perish. That holds water for me. I like that. Yeah, that's workable. So if we're approaching something, no matter how shiny the object is, without a vision for ourselves that we can sustain, not just in the glamour of the moment, okay, with the novelty of it all and the infatuation with a fleeting idea, okay, but unless we have a vision that we can sustain our own motivation after the honeymoon, so to speak, well, you perish. And we've seen many otherwise, brilliant success stories never come to be because they didn't take it all the way to completion. If there's one thing that you could convict experts of being, is committed to completion. When you look at your mentors here as it relates to e-commerce, have they not all, weathered the storms of adversity and the trials of Amazon and, yeah, of course they have. They just took it to a done. They committed to completion for whatever it takes, for as long as it takes, right? And different people with different, prior aptitudes and skill sets and experiences may have a shorter or longer learning curve than others. But everyone who sees the fruit of their investment of time, attention, money, labor, whatever, everyone has completed something. So we could say the anatomy of your success is finishing what you start, not just starting a whole bunch of things, but actually completing what you start. The sales brochure for anything, okay, the sales brochure doesn't talk about, and here are all the problems that you could have too. Think of it like this: you bought a new item. What's something I bought recently? Well, let's say a power tool, right? I've been doing some remodeling. I got some tools, right? And lawnmower. I got a lawnmower. Yeah, check this out. So I got a lawnmower, and on the website, you could see all the features of the lawnmower and how nice it is. And look at the beautiful pictures, and it cuts lawns. And look, here's the video. There's the guy cutting the lawn. This is going to be your life. I mean, look, the lawn is nice and cut because he bought the lawnmower, right? Okay, great. Now you got the lawnmower. And here's the manual, right? Well, and go ahead and educate yourself, right? Now, I already know what the product is. The product is the cut lawn, the well-cut lawn. That's the product. Okay, here's the tool to make the product happen. Okay, so now I got to understand how to use the tool. But then what is in the back of that manual? Troubleshooting. So here's why you're failing, and here are the probable solutions. Okay, that wasn't part of the sales pitch. On the website, the lawnmower website, Home Depot, or whatever you get your tools, right? It doesn't say, it's not, here's the troubleshooting section. The videos, the sales pitch videos with Mr. and Mrs. America happily cutting their lawn. does not include them reading the manual, learning how to use the friggin' thing, and then figuring out why is this thing not doing? Here's the troubleshooting. That wasn't part of the sales pitch, but it's included in the manual. Thank goodness. Okay. So there's a learning curve to all of it. And for me to get that product, the end result of the well-cut lawn, I'm going to have to educate myself. I'm going to have to invest. Now, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that if I didn't have a vision for what a well-kept lawn looks like. This may sound like a silly little example. And some of you may be asking, well, John, do you cut your own lawn? It's actually therapeutic for me. And I love the smell of fresh cut grass. Okay. I was paying a guy to cut the lawn. He did a crappy job. He was way overcharging me. He was thinking, here's this guy that just showed up from Arizona. He doesn't know anything. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cut the lawns. Anyway, way overcharging me. And I was like, you know what? I can go. I mean, I could do this. It's good. And I could always change my mind too. I could be like, yeah, screw this. You know what? I'll pay the kid down the street to cut the lawn. But right now I'm finding it's kind of nice, right? Especially in our line of work, right? Where we're dealing with so much subjective, decisions and creative this and that. Sometimes it's good to just, dig ditches and like carry buckets of water and stuff, and, objective, not subjective, objective. So for me, that's yard work. Nice, right? In fact, I think I mentioned to you guys just the other day that that my wife hired a mentor to teach us gardening, mostly to teach her gardening. She's more interested than I am, interested enough to invest hundreds of dollars into someone to tell us, put that there, check out the shade there, this much water, right? So I don't know. But this person, I mean, they've been living this stuff for like probably 50 years. It's not a young mentor. It's a very learned expert in the area of organic gardening. So great. I'll inflow. I'll take the training. That's cool. Tell me what to do. That's nice. Okay, but then I've got to do it. I mean, for us to experience the fruitage of the garden, now we've got to outflow. Now we've got to produce. Here's the structure of the gardening boxes and the the irrigation, and here's the dirt that we have to buy the proper soil, because this is Florida, it's all sand. I mean, the nutrients just fall right through the ground. So we're learning, right? But to have the product, which is what? Here's the tomatoes, right? That's the product. But to have that, there's a whole experience that leads up to that. Now, if I wasn't envisioning consistently, right, the benefits, the vision, like Solomon talked about, if I didn't see myself enjoying tomatoes and peppers and basil and whatever my wife wants to grow, well, that was nice. I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, other people have gardens, but they they're, I don't know if right. So you see all that indecision, right? Lack of vision, lack of definiteness. Big difference. Big difference. Now, I guess that just what falls upon us then is the question, well, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want what? So there's the foundation upon which I think we have to build everything is what do you want? So again, I'll ask you, and then we can open it up. What would indicate to you that this was a successful action? Quantify that. Define that. Define, definite. All right? Not indefinite, not vague. Definite. What is your vision for that? And you can have short-term and long-term goals, and that's all fine. Typically, what is more crystal and what's more definite is short-term, because it's closer. You can see it, within reach. But then long-term, obviously, is longevity, right? I mean, that's good, right? And legacy and all this. But I think what would indicate to you, and if you can define this for yourself, this is a very good thing to do. And I know for those of you who are new, going through your accelerator series, there's going to be some homework for you where you have an opportunity to really dig in on this. Because if you're vague, well, you get to be vague. All right. But if you're definite and you know what those indicators are, you have quantities, you have measurable, specific outcomes. Well, now you've got some vision. And now you'll read the manual and the troubleshooting guide and deal with Amazon, Gear Bubble, Etsy, eBay, and whatever other problems and perils. And you'll persevere. And it's all because you've got a vision and you know what it is. I hope that makes some sense. I see Dora's hand is up. Alec, you had your hand up though. Did you want to lead us off, Alec, or shall I go to Dora? Alec's hand is no longer up. Okay, I'm not hearing Alec. I'm going to go to Dora, and then if Alec wants to talk, he can. Hey, Dora.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
So I think you have to be careful too, because since I've started this program, I've kind of had not just a vision, but I've had total tunnel vision.
Mhm.
And I'm very, very focused on everything that I'm doing with the program, but I forget about the people that are around me. And, you know, I don't forget about them, but I don't pay as much attention to them as I should be. I'm really focused on this right now. And sometimes you have to be really careful with that because you get hurt feelings, and then you get, I guess it kind of, you have to have that balance. You have to balance your work and your family life at the same time without compromising either one. So I think it's a thin line that you walk, depending on how driven you are, I guess. It's just a very thin line that you walk to keep the two in balance with each other. As far as making it quantitative, I think I've made a lot of progress in a short period of time. And for me, the triumphs and the little goals that I'm reaching along the way, those are my big triumphs right now. I finally got my LLC. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you, state of Florida. I did set up my seller account with Amazon. Etsy was suspended. Of course, everybody knows that. Amazon, I've been verified all the way through. I'm just waiting for some little stupid postcard they're supposed to send me in the mail to verify my address. I'm still producing product every day and keeping very focused on all of that. My Gear Bubble store looks pretty good, I'm thinking. So, yeah, it's just, you really have to balance your work and home, even if you're working at home, and know when to go out to the garden and take that 5 minute, I got to get away for a minute, you're only going to make your business better when you focus on yourself as far as your physical and mental and everything else, your psyche, if you will. Because if that's not right, then this isn't going to go right. That's all I got.
Stuff. Well, thank you, Dora. And, I've heard that you want to work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your business. Right.
Yeah.
So
Don't
with
forget
that,
though.
yeah, that's great stuff. Thank you, Dora. Let's go to Scott Barker. What's going on, Scott?
Good morning, John. Good morning, everyone. I think you just nailed it right there in what you said, twice as hard on yourself as the business. And I think that's where this business begins and ends for 99% of the people. I think when you see these people doing the lawnmower ads and so forth, I think the vision there, most of them are really trying to convey and convince you is not that it's just wonderful to use this product and do this thing, but most importantly, that you can do it, that it's easy for you. And I think that is the key to the whole equation here. Because if you don't think that you can do it, your expectations will be limited to that bubble of what you believe you can do. And if the willingness to try, the willingness to go the extra mile, and the ability to create a vision beyond that bubble of what you believe you can do is almost impossible. The idea that, without a vision, the people perish. You can't have a vision unless you believe it's possible for you, not possible in the general sense for people, if a Joe Blow down the street, but for you yourself, because what one person achieves is not the same, because I'm not that person. So they may have some magical quality in my mind, some magical quality, some essential, huge skill, some genius in some area that I don't possess. And that's my excuse for not achieving it, because I'm not like them. Again, it comes down to the bubble of my potentiality that I perceive. So the vision for a people has to encompass the possibility that they can do it. I mean, America's touted as the great land of, the can-do attitude. That is the key. That was the key to American prosperity for a very long time. The idea that, we can do it and I can do it. And that because they had that, they had a vision. Without that can-do attitude, there's no vision. There's nothing. And the thing is, though, without that belief in yourself, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what shiny object you go to. It doesn't matter if someone puts millions of dollars in your hands with a lotto win or something. It won't matter because you can't take advantage of it. You will find ways of sabotaging yourself. Anything that keeps you within that bubble of your own self-belief, and that's why you have to expand that. Before this is why people drop out of the business. This is why people succeed, because that self-belief will find its expression in success. There's a direct link every single time. And I think if they work on that, that's why this sort of thing, the mindset aspect, is so critical. And I've seen other people mention this in different contexts, in different business contexts, time and time again. It is, you say you bring yourself, but what you're bringing is the bubble of your own possibilities that you perceive to be true for you in your mind. And it doesn't matter what you do, because if you don't believe in yourself, then nothing you do will matter anyway, because you won't succeed in it. But if you can strive to work on your own mentality, your own beliefs, it's not the knowledge that we can do. So knowledge that we can do something is the same as belief. It's just another scale, another part of the spectrum. But you still have to have that, or convince yourself of that reality. And to the extent that you can program that into your brain, to that extent, you will find success, or you'll find excuses. Whatever happens, whatever you see as your reality, that's what you're going to get. That's my
Right.
take on it anyway.
Wow. Hey, profound wisdom from Scott
Thank you,
Barker,
sir.
ladies and gentlemen. Good times.
Thank you, sir.
Good times. Hey, where's Shaq? We need to hear from him today.
Shaq is right here, man. How is everybody? I'm walking around right now. I am in the middle of my cardio set because I had a late night and a late start to my day, but I had to work on myself as hard as I work on my business. So I'm here in the meeting anyway, doing my workout. And I just wanted to chime in because of what Scott was just saying, kind of about it like works out to basically like whatever your like view of who you are is, and like what you're capable of and things of that, and and things of that nature. It's going to be really hard for you to grow outside of that bubble, like that vision that you create. That vision creates a bubble and you're in that as the observer. And when your identity, whatever it is, like is set at what it's set at, it's going to be really hard for you to grow out of it. And that's why a lot of people have problems implementing behavior change, is because they have an idea of themselves as that person who doesn't work out, or, that they hate salads or something, that they have an idea of who they are as they try to change how they act. And so one of the things that I think is important to do is to, kind of, because it's going to be hard to take big leaps in a different direction from like who you've set yourself to be. So it's important to identify what your values are, because your identity is like largely linked to what you value. Like I like the example of like, say like a dude who like grew up as like a killer athlete, right? Like he was always on varsity. He always got, applauded for his athletic skills. Like say he gets an injury and then now he can't play his sport anymore. It becomes extremely hard for him to get past that identity that he had as that as that like killer athlete. And so people get stuck in the dark for a while, but until he comes up with a new set of values, like he realizes he really enjoys, coaching now, like instead of actually playing the sport or, something like that. So establishing what your values are, and also doing those small things that like, that you can do. I was watching Jordan Peterson earlier, and he was talking about this, like, identify the things in your life that you're doing wrong or that you're like messing up in, and then also identify those things that you're doing that in that you can change, and then do them, and then you'll feel better about yourself as a person, and then that will impact your identity, which will then expand the parameters in which you can then grow, and become more of who you are, instead of who you think you are. And that's about all I got, man.
Well, thank you. Sounds like the upward spiral. Very good. Thank you, Shaq. And well done on your cardio. Very good. Good times. Hey, we got Viv. Hey, Viv, and then Scott, and then Carol Ann. Hey, Viv, what's going on with you? Let's get you unmuted. Viv. Click the clicky thing, Viv. There she is.
Hi. Hopefully, you're gonna be able to hear me well because I'm driving. But I wanted to share too. So because this is a very important topic, right? So it's not easy. Like life is not easy. That's for sure. And I just figured out that it doesn't matter how you go about it. There's a say that is put like this: slow and steady wins the race. So as long as you don't give up, you never know where you're gonna get. And as I followed like many successful people, and they always said that the person who doesn't try is worse than someone who just tried. And trying is not giving up. Trying is, putting one foot before the other. It doesn't matter if it's just one thing that you are able to do in a day. At least you're moving forward instead of giving up. My real problem, and I decided that I was not gonna do that, was giving up. Because if you start something, that means that there was a reason for that. And that reason has to have to do with your vision. And if someone doesn't have a vision, then they cannot get anywhere. You have to have a picture in front of you. And it's the same for something like marriage. If you wait to be with someone to start and figuring out what you would like in a partner, then you're gonna have a lot of catching up to do, and you're gonna feel like you're always out of breath. But if you already picture, that vision is gonna, allow you to meet someone that falls into your criteria. Maybe not all of them, but the most important criteria are gonna hold and stick you to what your decision was. And to me, it's the same thing with everything that I'm supposed to engage myself into. I got into the business about 10 months ago, and I got sick. And it took me a while, and I was like, I had the business in my mind. I was like, I have this vision in my mind, and I can't give up. I really hope that I'm not gonna miss the opportunity, because it's taking me too long to actually get back on my feet. And my concern was all of that, and all those things, designs and free mugs and stuff that I was looking at the time, and I'm gonna miss that, and I had to like calculate, even if I miss it, I'm still left with the business. And if I manage to get back on my feet, and I'm able to actually not start over, to me it was continuing what I started, because I started watching the trainings and all of that. And to me, that was the most important thing, because if I set my mind to do something, it just takes me to learn about all the steps. And there are people in this business that have done it, that were successful, and I'm so grateful to listen to you. It's like a daily therapy, and I don't have to pay extra for that, and I can have it for as long as I want, and who wouldn't want that? And I heard some of the pals like last week saying how sometimes they go through a hard day and they just think about what you say and the discussions that we have, the daily calls, and they feel better. And I haven't really seen that in other businesses. I mean, they'll have like sessions, but not daily calls, where they'll probably have daily calls about the business itself, but not, about the objectives and just the feel good calls to put us back into track, even when we fall, like we do with you. So that's just what I wanted to share, that the vision is the most important thing. And then after that, it's just learning one thing after the other and just making sure that we move. It doesn't matter if it's a slow move or a faster move.
Mhm.
So thank you,
Thank you,
John.
Viv. Thank you. All that while driving too. Well done. Drive safe. But yeah, I've been in this conversation for decades, right? Because I wanted to get my life working, right? And so now, of course, as an author and a guy who runs mastermind groups and coaching programs, this is like just an offshoot of that, I can show up here and work with other entrepreneurs, because that's what I celebrate, Viv and everyone. I celebrate people who are doers, right? Entrepreneurs, people who are making stuff happen, not just waiting for things to happen to them. Right. So anyway, love you, Viv. Glad you're here. Great share. Hey, we got a bunch of hands up now, so we're going to get moving here. We got Scott, and then Carol Ann, and then Mike. Hey, Scott, you had another comment on that?
Yeah, I'll just be quick. One thing about the bubble, I think Shuck's words sort of brought that to my mind. When we establish a bubble about what we believe is possible for ourselves, we do that as children because it serves a purpose. It creates a safe space for us to live in. We can negotiate, we can work out this reality. It's something we can feel safe in. So when you have limited expectations, you got to remember, with anything that the mind produces, it serves a purpose in some way. So and when you have limiting beliefs, it keeps you safe mentally. So you don't stretch beyond that. You don't risk yourself. You don't risk pain or hurt or disappointment. You can control your environment. And when you're a child, that's fine. But you're never going to grow that way. Growth is only possible when you extend that boundary. And that's, a lot of people get stuck in that child mode, not realizing that, yes, they're safe and secure, but so is a prison. Prison is safe and secure. I mean, you're not going to get hurt by what's outside the prison if you stay in your prison cell. Same sort of thing. You need to grow beyond that. And also too, Viv was talking about, and you mentioned too, the idea of integrity and the things that we should be doing and so forth. And I think that creates, I think that mindset of the moral component of our behavior, I think can be good if you're starting from a good place, but can also be very destructive in the sense that this idea that you should do this, it's a moral imperative, implicitly that you're not doing it, therefore you're not good enough, therefore if you do it, you're a good person, if you don't do it, you're not a good person. It becomes a constant battle with your feelings of self-worth and your sense of whether you're a good person. And that moral dynamic is very emotionally draining. I mean, I think you can have this judgment mentality, or you can have a vision that you can do it. Either you can have a vision, I'm a good person, therefore that's why I will succeed, or I'm just a person who can succeed. The two visions are totally different. One is almost parental, and it takes you back into the state of childhood as someone who's not good enough, not big enough, not powerful enough, somehow morally defective if you don't succeed. And it's not true, because sometimes you see yourself as morally defective when the real problem is not your moral stature as a person, it is your belief in yourself. And often when people fail, they think of themselves as morally inferior or somehow second rate, when in fact the only thing that was second rate was their vision of themselves. And the vision of yourself, I think, is the vision that's going to be instrumental to success in this business. That's the vision I think we should work on. And that vision will color everything else you do, including the visions you have in terms of your goals and achievements. And I think that's pivotal. That's what I need to say.
Thank you, Scott. Good stuff. Thank you, as always.
Thank you.
Carol Ann, and then I guess we're going to wrap up with Mike. Carol Ann.
Hi, I was trying to think of a April Fool's joke, but
Oh,
unfortunately,
please.
I'm not good at April Fool's jokes, but my mother used to make my dad so mad because she would fill the sugar thing with salt.
Oh,
Every year he forgot that she was going to do that, and he would get so mad because he would ruin his first cup of coffee. So that was the only thing I could think of. You're all great today. I've got so much to work with. John, the lack of definiteness. I love that. I love how you said that and everything. And then looking at what does it take for each of us to complete whatever and we're all different and there are different criteria, but when you're conscious, then I think that's it. Conscious completeness. It doesn't mean that you're always going to do full blast every program you get into, because you could get into it without knowing all the facts and it just isn't right. And you need to move on to something else. So anyhow, that's where I come from. And it's always worked for me. I love Dora's message about balance, and Scott, awesome. And awesome that Scott came back and added on. That was such an empowering, important message. And Shaq, about a really good point. Become who, we're always thinking of who we are instead, but we're growing. So being in that place of not who you are right now, instead of who you're growing to be. And what about Viv? Congratulations. Awesome that you stayed in and that you're very, I got a lot from your entire message. Just one thing I wanted to add that you might find it fun. And when I heard John say this, I thought of how effective it was. I'm a founder of a nonprofit, and we used to do big community projects in Hawaii, and they were global sometimes, and they were big. We always would get our core team, which might be 3 of us, that decided we were going to do whatever we were going to do. One time we sent thousands of stuffed animals into Bosnia when Bosnia was at war, and to the orphanages. And so anyhow, we would take a piece of paper, the 3 of us on the core team would decide exactly what we were going to do. And we would always make it within 90 days. Our goal was 90 days for these huge things. And then we would start. So on the front, we would say what the name of the project was. To Bosnia with Love was that one. And then we would have one of our guys, an architect, he drew a planet Earth and teddy bears and stuff coming down onto Bosnia. And that was our image. And then we would say that what, when, where, what we were going to do. And then we would say, how can you help? What would you like to do to get on board? And we would flip over the poster, and on the back, we would tell them exactly what to do, who to call. If we had, like with that project, we had a warehouse where we collected stuffed animals. So we would put everything, we would design it first in our mind. And I think that's what John is doing with his work he's done forever with himself and what he gives to others. And I have too. I've spent about 30 years in this area. So because it's everything. When you get that figured out in your mind and then use a tool, if this helps with the poster or sounds good, do something like that. It was really, really effective. And truthfully, I had kind of forgot about it. I'm going to do one for this project for myself. So anyhow, blessings to all of you. Thank you. Really, I'm getting so much out of this call. Thank you.
Oh, glad to hear that. Thank you, Carol Ann, for your contribution as well. All right, so Mike, and then we got Diana going to speak here. Hey, Mike.
Hey, I like that we're always looking for different options and different opinions and different attitudes. And I just was realizing that my window was causing too much glare. So I go out and I overlook the back lane. And of course, lots of vagrants collecting bottles. So here's an example. There's a huge 24 pack of the really big water bottles. Okay. So a vagrant comes by and looks at it. So he starts undoing the caps multi and dumping out all the water so he can crush the bottles to put them in the bag. So perspective, right? And it could be Joke Friday too. You know, here's a guy saying like, you've got enough water now to last you how many days? But instead, you're dumping it out for a short-term goal. I'm going to get the 10 cents a bottle rather than have a bottle or a day or maybe, 3 or 4 a day so I can stay alive for a week. It's just, sometimes we just don't understand that our long-term goals are so much more important than our short-term gains. And I thought, I saw that and I'm like, huh. So I just thought I would share that. Interesting
metaphor. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Good times. Keep growing that hair, man. Looking fluffy.
I've got another months to go. The casting director said I gotta let it grow for another month because they moved the date. They pushed the date back of the set until the end of this month. So that's gonna be pretty.
Thank you, Mike. Always good to see you, my friend. Hey, let's go to Diana, and I think we're wrapping up, although I see Caroline's hand is up again. Hey, Diana.
Hi. I just want to talk about what Scott said and about our beliefs and about how we need to believe in ourselves in order to make us going forward. And that brought up to me growth. If we're going to grow, we need to have the challenge, because if we're going to stay stagnant, we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to move anywhere. We're not going to learn anything. And then, we're not going to move forward in our business. So we really do. I think it was Viv said she wanted to stop. And then she goes, no, I can't. It's that challenge, that challenge that we hold on to, that challenge where we go, I take this step and I'll get this. I take this step, I'll get this. And if we don't take that challenge, if we don't believe we can do that challenge, then we're not going to get where we want to go. Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, just to sort of wrap up what a few people said on the call today, and our self-worth does come, like Scott said, comes from inside. It comes from our heart. Like if we take our self-worth from our outside world and what other people think of us, we're not going to go anywhere either. So we have to start from our inside, think of who we are, what our beliefs, what our values are, take those challenges, grow with those, and we will do our vision and what we want and keep our values. That's
Thank
what
you,
I have to
Diana.
say.
All right, Diana, ladies and gentlemen. Great stuff. Yeah, and it is going right along with what Scott was talking about, is believing you can, right? So good times, everybody. Wow, another week done. We are going to get together here again on Monday. You guys, it's April, right? So good things happen in April, says me. All right, so let me sell you that idea right now. You're about to accomplish some great stuff because it's April. Good times. We do have, I guess, a meeting after the meeting. So as soon as we shut down this room, it'll open again. And for any of our members here, of course, if you're seeing this on YouTube, we love you as well. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be back here with you guys on Monday. In the meantime, have an awesome weekend.